Hello and thank you for watching today's training video. In today's video, we're going to show you how to install the bracket for a GoGo LX scooter, and the bracket is to be used for the tri-lift mobility scooter carrier that attaches to the hitch of your vehicle. You will need to ensure that your vehicle and the mobility scooter that you have is compatible with the tri-lift application. We're showing you here the actual tri-lift itself laid out on the floor before we install it on a vehicle. And we have two different brackets here. The big one that we're focusing in on now is actually for a much larger scooter made by Afficam, known as the S4, and it weighs over 300 pounds. But this smaller bracket that we're focusing on now is for a GoGo LX four-wheel. That's model SC54LX by Pride Mobility. And we're going to show you how to install this bracket onto the scooter in a separate video, which we'll link to in the description. And at the end of this video, there will be a thumbnail to watch the actual installation of the tri-lift itself. So check the description out if you're interested in seeing how the installation works. For now, we're going to show you how to install the bracket on this GoGo. First, all you have to do is remove the seat and then remove the battery box. And then unscrewing the two screws with a Phillips head screwdriver or a drill. We're taking out the first two screws that secure the rear side of the floorboard, which is one big piece. And what we're doing is we're actually just going to take out the front two screws as well that we're pointing out. Make sure you keep them handy and don't lose them. Once those four screws are out, you can go ahead and disassemble the front half from the rear half. And essentially, you need to tip the scooter over. We removed the rear half because it makes it easier to work with and it's easier to tip the scooter over. You are going to need to remove four screws from the bottom part of the scooter frame that secure the floorboard to the floorboard from underneath the scooter. So start off with the rear two and then move on to the front two that we're showing you here. And again, make sure to keep your screws handy and don't lose them. Make sure you know which screws are going where when it's time to put everything back together. So keep them organized and keep them to the side. Again, there are four screws that go in through the bottom side of the scooter frame, which are going to be used to completely detach the floorboard from the frame itself. So we have all four screws removed from the top, all four screws removed from the bottom. And as you can see, the floorboard is very loose now. You don't need to remove the floorboard completely. You just need to install the hardware that's provided with the bracket. You're going to have four U-bolt hooks that come with two nuts. Those U-bolt hooks will go over the frame and then through the bracket that attaches to the bottom of the frame, which we're going to show you next. What we're doing first is we're just kind of putting a few of the hooks there and getting them ready for the actual bracket. It does help to have a second person to hold the bracket in place. As you can see, we've lined it up with the frame, and this is the orientation that you're going to want it. You're going to need the actual triangle piece that's used to hook onto the tri-lift. It's going to go on the left side of the scooter. So we have the scooter tilted over on its right side. That's why you see the big triangle bracket at the very top there on top of the scooter, which would be on the left side if it was sitting up on its wheels. So take notice of how we're installing these U-bolt hooks, because this is the exact layout that you'll need to use if you have the GoGo LX four-wheel and you want to install the tri-lift bracket to it as well. What we recommend doing is getting the U-bolts through the holes on the bracket and just putting the nuts on them, kind of just finger tight at first so that they're held into place. Once they're all put into place with the nuts finger tight on all four of the U-bolts, then you could just go ahead and start tightening them. It might take a little shimmying. It's not going to be the easiest thing. There is very little room to get those U-bolts in, but go ahead and work with it until you get all four of those U-bolts in to the same location around the same bars that you're seeing here on this video. So two go in the rear on the main bar that's used to disassemble the scooter. It's important to note that once you install this bracket, you can no longer detach the rear half from the front half. So if you try to detach the rear from the front using the disassembly feature of these scooters, it will not work because the bracket's holding the rear to the front now. And it's a very secure bracket that's used to carry the scooter on the tri-lift. So you really don't need to disassemble the scooter anymore because you have the tri-lift. So it's really not the biggest deal, but it is worthy to know that once you install this bracket, you can no longer disassemble the front half from the rear half as far as the base goes on the mobility scooter itself. So what we're doing now is we're just tightening everything. You might need a deep socket to get the bolts all the way tightened. You want to make sure they're very tight and very well secure. If you don't have a deep socket, you can use a little wrench, manual wrench. Just do what you need to do to make sure that they're all tight. And then go ahead and reinsert the screws that you removed from the bottom of the frame, the 2 in the front and the 2 in the rear. You may notice while the scooter is tipped over to the side that it's hard to line up the holes for the screws on the bottom of the frame. So if you do have an extra set of hands, it might help to have someone lift the scooter up from behind while you screw in those bottom 4 screws back into the frame. The floorboard does have metal threaded holes for those screws, and just take a look here at the configuration. Make sure that your setup is exactly the same. So as you can see, we've tipped it back over, and that triangle bracket's on the left side, as mentioned. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall the rear 2 screws that go right underneath the battery cradle. Start off with those 2 screws, get them in there. Don't over tighten in this part here. You could crack the floorboard, which is made out of a plastic material, and just get it in there nice and snug. So we're reattaching the 2 screws in the front now. And basically the installation of the bracket is complete at this point. We just need to reassemble the scooter. So we're putting the seat post back in that we took out earlier. You can adjust the height of your mobility scooter with that seat post. You can see that in a later video, which we'll put in the description below. Just go ahead and reinstall the battery and the seat. And now as you can see, that bracket's installed nicely there on the left side by the base. It does not take up a lot of room considering the armrests stick out just as far as that bracket. So towards the base, you'll notice that there is that bracket. Some people think it gets in the way a little bit, but it is very low profile. And in order to use this scooter now with the tri-lift, you just need to ride the scooter right up to the red triangle that's on the base of the tri-lift so that it hooks right into that black triangle that's now attached to your scooter. That red triangle will hook into that black bracket, which is a triangle shape, and just lift it straight up. It's pretty impressive. It lifts it up far enough to where you don't have to worry about your tires on the scooter hitting anything. It gets it really high up there, and it's very, very sturdy, very secure. This tri-lift doesn't take up as much space when you're parking your vehicle in a garage. It's a very low profile application compared to a lot of the platform lifts that you see. And that's one of the main benefits. Another benefit is that you can use several different mobility scooters as long as they have that universal bracket installed. So you don't need to have different lifts for one scooter that's meant for indoors if you have a different scooter that's heavy duty and meant for outdoors. This tri-lift can carry huge scooters that weigh 350 pounds as long as your vehicle is rated to support that type of capacity. So you will need to check with our product experts to ensure that your vehicle has the towing capacity and the tongue weight capacity to carry the type of scooter you're looking to carry with this application. But give us a call. Our sales experts are non-commissioned and they're happy to answer any questions that you might have. We do offer this product for sale tax-free. Shipping is free as well at mobilitydirect.com. Please don't forget to like this video or leave a question in the comments section below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you found this video useful and you want to get notified when new ones come out just like it. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.